ashes to ashes.
Ryu's getting roasted all night. Man, Ryu is having a bad day today. Everyone's making fun of him. He's probably gonna delete his Twitter.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Street Fighter 6 once more. A lot of the topics that I touched on in the past 2 or 3 days, a lot of these topics are still developing, still ongoing, and I have a few updates that I want to share with a lot of you. What I think is really interesting about the Street Fighter 6 trailer is what it did to the internet. It really got everyone, I would say, hyped up, some riled up. But what I think is really funny is what it did to the Tekken community. Tekken 7 is a very old game. 6-7 years depending on how you look at it. It came out in arcades for 2 years. It wasn't a good sight. I have a few tweets here from key figures in the Tekken community. Tendo XI says, all jokes aside, where is Tekken 8, dog? Speed kicks. So when is Tekken 8? I have a few tweets in here that I plucked because I thought these were interesting. How Street Fighter 6 getting announced before Tekken 8. I saw Tekken 8 trending and got really excited, but it's just hoping. My favorite tweet out of all the Tekken 8 related stuff is these two tweets right here. Maybe if Harada drunk some McDonald's Sprite, he'll announce Tekken 8. Under that, Kazuya is going to be wide AF in Tekken 8. I think it would be really cool if Street Fighter had a guest character. I know in the main Street Fighter series, there has been no guest characters in that. And right now, the FGC is very guest character focused. Smash, they get a bunch of guest characters. Tekken 7, we got 4 guest characters. Street Fighter, they got none. Mortal Kombat, who knows how many guest characters they had. I think all of their DLC, except for probably like 4, was guest characters. So it's going to be really interesting to see if Street Fighter start doing guest characters. And I think just like Bandai Namco, Capcom, their pool of character possibilities is kind of endless. What if they had like Attack on Titan DLC, Eren Yeager or Levi, right? Their pool is really cool because they can sort of dig into that anime catalog that Mortal Kombat doesn't have access to. Like, yes, Mortal Kombat can get these movie characters, you know, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, but they can't get anime characters, especially the Japanese ones. Tekken and Street Fighter, I really hope they take advantage of that Japanese culture and bring some of these anime characters to EVO. The reason why I started off this video talking about Tekken is because we have Harada, the director of Tekken. This guy drives the ship when it comes to Tekken. He tweeted about Street Fighter 6 and it was not a good tweet. He's not throwing shade or calling them out, but I think he is putting them on the spot. He says, when I first watched it, I thought it was this, and he has a YouTube link. That YouTube link sends you to an IGN video that was posted 10 years ago. And that video is Tekken 6 being announced at EVO. And I've seen a lot of other community members talking about this. I think this is another thing that's kind of going viral throughout the community. Everyone's sending it back and forth.
It's literally the same trailer. He's got muscles. The sweat is steaming. Is it a Tekken 6 trailer? Whatever it is like the same trailer 11 years ago, dude.
When I saw the Street Fighter 6 trailer, it reminded me of Lita's reveal trailer. All the Tekken players out there will know exactly what I'm talking about. Her gameplay trailer kind of did this same thing where it had the black background and you had the people fighting and a lot of the spotlight was centered on the characters. Now, the reason why I think this is so prominent throughout these trailers is because this is just a very appealing way of revealing something. I see this all the time when it comes to like 2K, basketball, phone companies do this. If you ever see their commercials, always a black background, and then you have the iPhone or the Galaxy, you know, spinning, and they got some music playing. So I don't think that Capcom is trying to copy Tekken the way that everyone's making it seem. I just think this style of trailer, having the black background with whatever you want people to focus on front and center. I think that's just very popular. I kind of want to say cool in this day and age, right? This is kind of just how companies show their products. But I did want to mention that because this tweet is the only tweet from the Tekken developers mentioning Street Fighter. If we switch over to the main Twitter account, the official Tekken Twitter, there's no mention of Street Fighter 6. And I think this is because the rivalry. Because if you look at February 17th, congratulations to our friends SNKP official on the launch of KOF 15. Now you could contribute that to Geese Howard and, them allowing that character to be in Tekken 7. But I do think the sort of rivalry between Street Fighter and Tekken is probably at an all-time high right now. Because Tekken 7 is super successful. One of the most successful fighting games ever. It's definitely the most successful Tekken game ever, but fighting games ever. And you have to think about that. I know Capcom is. Street Fighter V had a rocky launch. Tekken 8, if there's no bugs or glitches or stupid decisions, that game is going to be huge when it launches. And Street Fighter 6, they have to do everything they can in order to compete and not lose players. A lot of people question why they made these design decisions and stuff like that. It's because competition is steep right now. Mortal Kombat is one of the most popular fighting games in the genre. Tekken 7 is the most popular it's ever been. I think Capcom is kind of sweating right now. The throne is up for grabs and they're trying to retain it. Something that I want to talk about. I have a tweet here about the logo. I know I did a video about it, but this is a update. A lot of people were saying that I was sort of blowing these things up. The controversies, right? The design, the art, the logo. A lot of people say I was like gaslighting, putting fuel on the fire, trying to make it bigger. But the reason why I handpick comments from my own videos instead of using tweets and things like that is because, I don't know, that's just what I wanted to do. I guess you could call it an oversight. But to show you guys just how big this controversy is, I have a few things up my sleeve. The first one is a tweet from IGN. The controversial logo for Street Fighter 6 bears similarity to an Adobe stock image. The creator of the stock image has told IGN they now want to sell the exclusive rights to Capcom. Now this is interesting because I'm pretty sure you guys seen this pink logo 20 times, maybe even more. But Capcom has a few options. They could either make a new logo, they can either buy this logo, the exclusive rights to it, that way no one else will be able to use it, or they can just ignore everything, wait for the controversy to die down, wait for everyone to forget, and then just, continue with whatever they have planned, continue with their roadmap. Will this topic re-arise in summer when they show up? Will everyone be like, oh, they didn't even listen to us, they still have the same logo? Or will people just let it go? That's a question I don't really have the answer for that. What I think is more important though is this tweet. This tweet said, Capcom's team of professional 3D artists trying their best to create an even uglier model of Ken for Street Fighter 6. 29,000 likes on this. I think this is very true. If they do decide to go with this super realistic approach, they have to be careful with it. Because in the past, they made a few mistakes before. One thing I could think of off the top of my head is when they made Chun-Li ugly. I can't remember what game it was, but she was ugly and everyone was upset and they redid her face model. They made Ken ugly. A lot of people still think about that vividly. And you have to think about it. I'm not even thinking about characters like Chun-Li or Gaia or Cammy or any of the humans. What I am interested to see, what will a character like Blanca look like in a super realistic environment? The monsters, the creatures of Street Fighter. That is when you get some Black Mirror, creepypasta, nightmare fuel. Is when you start turning these characters that were cartoons, monsters, beast-like creatures into realistic characters. That is where the problems arise, and they really have to be careful with that. The final thing that I want to talk about, this sort of gives us a bigger understanding of what the community is feeling when it comes to the overall aesthetics of the trailer. From a Event Hub's news article, the headline says, "Poll, what did you think of the Street Fighter 6 reveal and art style?" Thousands upon thousands of fighting game fans across the world tuned in last night to see the grand unveiling of Street Fighter 6, and it didn't disappoint. Or did it? Now I do want to talk a little bit about how many people saw that trailer. Right now the trailer was trending, the highest I seen it was at number 2. It did dip down a little bit, you know, because it's like 4 days old at this point, but it did dip down. It was at number 2. Maximilian also had a video trending at like number 8. I don't know if Maximilian ever had a video trending, but very, very big moment for not only Street Fighter, but the whole FGC. The FGC lives and dies by Street Fighter, and it's important that they do well. Looking at these polls, I have 2 of them. The first one says, "What did you think of Street Fighter 6 teaser trailer?" 410 votes on this, 8 options to pick from. 35% says, "I enjoyed it, but wish there was more." 15%, "I'm cautiously optimistic." 11%, "I wasn't really feeling it." 9.8, "I really didn't like it." 8.3, "I loved it," and so on and so forth. The reason why I'm showing you guys this poll is because this gives us a little bit more of a look as to how the community feels overall, right? I said it before, me myself, I liked it. I liked the new art direction. I also like the old direction. I'm fine with both. I understand they chose the new one to make it more realistic because that will grab the casual player's attention. They will say, "Oh wow, look at these graphics. I want to play that," right? I do understand that. If we look at the bottom 2, 6%, 4%. If we combine those, 10%. I didn't like it. It was the worst. So you can see that some people are sort of hating on the trailer, and that's kind of just with everything. You can't please everyone. I really just want to know if they're going to stick with it or if they're going to change the logo. That's really the big question that I have. I do think it's interesting that Harada, the director of Tekken 7, drew some similarities between his trailer from Tekken 6 and the Street Fighter 6 trailer as well. But that's going to be it. That's everything that I have. That's all the updates for this discussion. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for liking and, you know, just checking out the content. I do appreciate it. That's it. See you next time. Bye bye.